White boxes. We check them for identification. We dance within them and call them studios. We adorn their walls with art and call them galleries. These boxes help spaces function and run smoothly, particularly white spaces. Spaces that exist in the service of whiteness through an implicit absence of blackness or people of color. These are spaces of affluence, exclusivity, wealth, and power. We, Black folks, want to be in these spaces. We learn how to behave in these spaces and are praised when we successfully navigate them. So much so that we sometimes forget that these behaviors are just that, learned. Learned and mastered to the point of erasing who we are in exchange to validate and justify our right to these prioritized resources. This exchange can become a sickness of silence, an addiction of complacency. Well, with addiction, there's always the room for recovery. Welcome to White Box Recovery. I am your host, Phoenix Taylor Wright. Today's strategy for White Box Recovery: read your contract thoroughly and possibly with a friend. If you have questions or you don't understand something, ask. Don't feel you have to sign a document as is. Negotiate if you feel you have to be comfortable with the documents you sign and the boxes you check.
A contract is a conversation, an agreement, a negotiation. And here are a couple of things that you can negotiate. One thing you can negotiate is a perpetuity clause. What is that, you ask? Well, perpetuity describes something that will last forever or for an indefinite amount of time. You may read something like this. Artist agrees that photos, video, and related materials provided by artist or resulting from artist's presentation by presenter can be used in perpetuity to promote organization's activities. Artist confirms that all rights to use photography and video provided by artist have been secured for promotional use. So basically, an organization is claiming the rights to your images at any time by getting you to sign away your rights to said images. Beware. If you see this language or any that you aren't sure about, ask questions. Ask exactly, what does this mean for your work? You can also suggest alternative conditions like, artist agrees that photos, videos, etc., provided by the artist or resulting from the artist's presentation by presenter can be used to promote organizational activities with explicit written consent by the artist for each incident. In the end, if you're not satisfied with the conditions in your contract, negotiate them or request that they be taken out. Another thing you can negotiate is your compensation, or how much money you receive for a project. You can break it down by how much money you make an hour or for the lifespan of a project. For instance, if your going rate is $20 an hour and a project or show is offering you $400, this will probably occupy about 20 hours of your time. Knowing your ballpark rate will help you decide how much work to do or how much additional compensation you'll need to request. Lastly, you can negotiate the timeline of a project. When it's within your power, be as realistic as possible about the amount of time that it takes to do something or many things. If you're juggling several projects, look to see how much time that they may take across days, weeks, months, even years. For instance, if you are simultaneously working on 3 projects that take up about 60 hours a week, it might be unwise to add additional projects onto your plate unless you can postpone something, spread something out over a longer period of time, delegate action steps, or outsource some tasks. Keeping a calendar of your artistic obligations and important action items leading up to your due dates can also be helpful. A calendar is a good visual indicator of where and how you are spending your time.
Well, if I don't feel comfortable pushing back? Well, agency is like a muscle. The more you flex it, the more comfortable it will become. Well, that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in to White Box Recovery. And now you. How do you read your contracts?